Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another AFR broadcast. This time, we're coming to you live from Suzuka in Japan for round 17 of the AFR Tier 1 and 2 Championships. As usual, I am Kunai Zero, and with me tonight is Psycho.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, so, should be able to get things kicked off pretty soon. Just obviously the drivers do their housekeeping stuff. We'll do a quick recap of last week. So, of course, last week, round 16, Russia. Pretty interesting couple of races there for both Tier 1 and Tier 2. Revo winning his 6th in a row, puts him up to 356 points. Seb managing to come second, puts him up to 198, and Mikau came third. So 236 points for him, which puts the Constructors' Championship, Renault well ahead. 436 points, almost 200 points ahead of Haas, who are currently second with 254 points, and the Red Bull in third with 249. So it's still a close race between Haas and Red Bull. Anything could happen there for the fight for second, but I feel like Renault might have this inched out now.
Oh, absolutely. They're pulling ahead, and if Revo just keeps up what he's doing, he'll just drag it all the way across the line.
Yeah, It's gonna take a bit to get him, for someone to catch him.
His practice times were through the roof. He was nearly a second clear of Mikau.
Yeah. He just sort of he gets as soon as he gets like any form of gap, he just takes off. It's a bit ridiculous, but I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully that just gives people more motivation to try and catch him.
Yeah. Hey Hobbsy, hey some dogger.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. All right, now I might sound a little bit spaced in my talking because unfortunately something just broke in my stream thing, so I've got to try and fix that real quick.
No, it's all right.
Very typical. Very typical.
Always on a Sunday night, exactly when you.
It is, eh?
Yeah,
every time I have it working great, and then it's just like, nope.
That's when it goes. Yep, works great in practice. As soon as you go live, it's like, nah, sorry, buddy.
It just wants to die.
Oh no, it's funny.
Very typical.
Right, so. No, I'm excited for this one. We did some practice today, quite a bit of practice actually, and even some wet practice because a lot of these guys are convinced that it's just going to have torrential rain.
Yeah, hopefully we see similar to what we saw last year. What was the typhoon called? It was a super typhoon that hit Suzuka, and it was really worried because they didn't know if the race was going to go on. So yeah, we could see a wet. I mean, we saw that in the 2010 series, and that gave us Neilbot. So,
oh, dude, Neilbot.
Let's hope that.
Bandcamp's telling you to check your Steam message.
Yeah, because I don't pay attention to anything. So Bandcamp's letting me know that Revo can win the World Drivers' Championship this race and the Constructors, which would equal Band's previous record of winning the Championship 4 rounds early. So yeah, Revo on point to finalize it, to put it in the ground once and for all. This race, we'll see if everything goes well for him. For those of you who are just joining us, I can see a lot of people in chat active. This is awesome. Let's see, Rickstar0931. What platform is this? PC? iRacing? No, it is the F1 2019 game. Thank you, Matt.
How can I would wish this is iRacing?
Look, I'll be honest. I'll be straightforward with you guys. iRacing is awesome. I love iRacing.
Don't get him started, guys. Please.
But
we've only got so long.
But it's not. It's not conducive to something like this. At least not to the level that the Codemasters games deliver. So, and for those who have been paying attention to all the reviews and insights that are coming out on F1 2020, it looks like that we're going to get a lot more control from a broadcast perspective for F1 2020, and I'm so excited. So we know that AWS analytics are confirmed, which means that you guys will have access to tire strategies, fuel, temperatures, all that type of stuff. It'll come in like they do on the TV broadcast, which is awesome.
You mean from the spectator's point of view?
Yeah, exactly from our point of view. And I believe that we will have manual control over the cameras around a track. So he is hoping that is the case.
That's exciting. That's really exciting. Yeah. I might have to get out my my joystick and go helicopter cam. Yeah, it should be really, really good for those of you guys watching, and then hopefully we can give you a cleaner and more professional look and a more entertaining look. What I would love is if there are action cameras, so if the game knows when something's about to happen and it can switch or things like that, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to get my spider sense more tuned in for all of that. Yeah.
Zudix, yes, thank you, sir. And also, don't forget to follow us for all news and events. You can do that on the Facebook or the Twitter page. Both with the tag AFR OzNZ. All right, so it looks like that we are starting to go into qualifying. So we should be able to switch that over. Thank you, Zudix. There it is, link for the Twitter. And for those of you who are watching on the Twitch page, you can also click on the Facebook and Twitter logos underneath. They will redirect you.
I've got my fun fact of the day.
What's your fun fact of the day?
In Switzerland, it is illegal to own only one guinea pig.
Yes, I know and here's a better fun fact for that. Do you know why that's the case?
They're considered social animals, and it's animal cruelty to only have one.
That's correct. I now socially identify as a guinea pig.
There are worse things to socially identify as.
True. All right,
like,
so
the pit lane, he just looks miserable.
All right, so short qualifying, 18 minutes on the clock for our drivers.
Malachi, streaming.
Sorry.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome. Okay, so my weatherman tells me that we are in for an all dry race. So no rain to speak of, no rain in sight. So we should have a pretty solid race. You can see it's overcast here in qualifying, but shouldn't affect them too much.
What that means there, don't you?
No, what does that mean?
Yeah, Ali called it in chat. It's going to be pouring down in Tier 2.
Defo rain T2. Yeah, 100%, mate. Isn't that how that works? Okay, so you would have noticed that Lotus has retired from the session. That is because he has a qualification ban that was meant to be served last race, but everyone, including the stewards, forgot about it. So he's honouring that, retiring from this qualification. So he'll start from the back of the grid for the race. Hobbsy, watch it be heavy rain for both sessions for us in Tier 2. Yeah, probably. Probably. But that's what makes it fun, isn't it? That's what makes it fun. All right, so I have had to play around with some of the streaming setup. So if anything does break, please let me know in the chat. Those of you who are whinging about the scene, I forgot to set. I had the button to set broadcast, but I didn't actually link it to an action to switch scene. So luckily that was picked up on. So that
I like our radio shows.
Radio shows are great. Yeah, exactly. Stop hating, people. Radio is fine. It's a podcast, the AFR podcast. All right, so we are on board now with Revo, who is leading the championship and is on par to win the championship this race if he gets a good result. Currently on his flying lap, you can see. And here's something I will point out as well. So if you notice, as Revo drives around, the way that he shifts through the gears is very, very harsh. So you'll notice he'll, as he brakes, he just spams the gears like bang, 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 and he shifts them down. And that's because F1 2019 allows you to do that. And then the engine braking is a lot stronger because you're forcing the lower gear in the car adjust to compensate. That is no longer possible in F1 2020. So they have modeled the engine to have accurate the accurate modes in how the gears and everything are read. So the engine won't physically allow you to shift down that quickly because you'd blow up a real engine if you did that. So yeah, you won't actually be able to use that technique. So there's a couple of things that are getting tweaked like that some of our more mature drivers have to adjust to. As Revo sets flying lap there, 1:27.180. Cracker of a lap to begin things. T-Mac comes across, 1:28.489. Mick out, slotting himself in a second there, 1:27.9. Flyboy, 1:28.6. Major Pain with a 1:29. Let's jump on board with Bandcamp, who is...
comes in at 1:29 as well. Seb jumps up to third with a 1:28 flat. Gus Rule slots in a sixth, 1:28.9.
So we're seeing some pretty close times here. Revo and Mick out in the 27. Seb's awfully close, 1:28.0, yeah. Everyone else in the 28s. Yeah, Apollo Pepsi obviously having a rough one there, 2:06, but he'll be looking to improve. Also on the medium tyre, which is interesting.
Honey, can you guys go do this somewhere else? I'm streaming, you can hear you through the microphone. Jesus.
Alright, so Band is coming to start on his flying lap. There we go, so down through the gears, into first corner, and then up through Snake. The trick is you want to get a smooth exit out of first corner, but not too far out, because if you touch that grass, it's pretty much your day done. We can see the Toro Rosso there off to the side.
As you say that, Matt just slams into the wall. I mean, Nut slams into the wall.
Oh, okay, so that was him. Righto.
Yep.
Makes sense. Okay, so up through Dunlop into the first of the Degner curves. Ooh, keeping it in seventh. Nice. So you can obviously do that. You have to be wary of your revs, though, because the car wants to shift sideways, and you can go past the AstroTurf, which will, of course, invalidate your lap. And then hard on the brakes through the hairpin into 200R. Down through. Here we go. Up to Spoon. So down into fifth, riding. Nice use of the curb there. Slight trail braking to keep that front end pointed in, and then bang on the throttle. Whereas you got nice fresh soft, so they'll have the grip to do that as it punch all the way down the back stretch into the famous 130R that is no longer really a curve, and everyone takes flat out.
Spoon is painful on all regards. Like it's just such a tough corner, and it's so deceptive, especially if your tyres start to get a little worn.
So here he goes into the DRS, crosses the line with a 1:28.854, which will put him in 8th place. As a bunch of the other drivers have set times too. The only driver so far not to have done one is Nut, who unfortunately did have a bit of an off, so he'll have to reshape the car as he comes into the pits now, funnily enough. And,
I know how you feel, Zudix.
There we go. So Matzoid has just invalidated his lap, so he'll have to restart another one. We'll stay on board with him as he goes to do one. One of the 3 drivers to be on the medium tyre here for the qualification. 11 minutes to go.
Well, that was interesting.
Oh, Lanzo. I'm going to commentate LORT1 in Japan, so maybe I should listen to this for some tips. I can't guarantee they're going to be great tips. But,
well, I've had my fuck up for the evening. I just realised I'm using the wrong microphone, so every time I muted it to yell at someone in the background, it wasn't muting.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for telling me, Kuhn. I appreciate it, buddy. You
know.
were so nice. Next time you have a radio show, I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Simdog, 70% of my practices against have had some form of rain, so the odds aren't good. Yeah, no, the odds are probably not good. Let's jump on with T-Mac. T-Mac is currently sitting 4th.
Lenzo, I'll be surprised if Revo bangs out anything over a 1:26.5, because he was getting well under that in practice.
Zudix. I love an onboard view from these guys. Shows me how slow I am. No, not just you, mate. Shows how slow all of us are. I didn't know Revo didn't win one race due to a crash. Has he won all the other races? No, he has not won all the other races. He was penalised down to 5th in France, I believe, for a movement under safety car. And I believe, yeah, he retired on one
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
retired in Azerbaijan, second in Monaco, second in France, and fifth at Silverstone. That was for the penalty.
Silverstone, yeah, right. I'm guessing Revo is winning the... Yes, Revo is definitely winning. Revo is, most people would agree, probably the best driver we have here at AFR. To be fair, there are those who are, slowly but surely catching. Mikau is ridiculously quick, as you can see. Revo's with a 127.1 at the moment. Mikau with a 127.9. Seb also good there.
Revo's about to smash his time.
AVFC Henry. Come on. See, there you go, Mikau. You've even got a cheer squad happening now. Also, I just want to point out, Charlie Puth with the one as the L. I don't know if anybody... Well, I'm assuming either that's a fan of Charlie Puth or that's... But it's hilarious because that guy has what's called perfect pitch. And everyone always asks him to demonstrate it, which is ridiculous because it's not like it isn't a superpower. It's just something that you can learn. Like, you can be born with it, but you can also just learn it. And it's just ridiculous how many people ask him to demonstrate it. It's just, sorry, off on a little tangent there, but informative. So it's important. I think T-Mac just pulled off the fastest Sector 2.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so. I just saw the map go purple. But anyway, let's see. He'll hit the DRS. He'll cross the line. 128.2. Still in fourth. It is an improvement. And while I was going on that rant, Revo got into the 26s. 126.994.
He'll come into pit and put some fresh boots on and then wait a few minutes and go and smash it. Nut is having some trouble out there. I can see he still hasn't managed to bang a lap in. I've been on board with him, but no, that'll invalidate. I'll look at someone else. I'm cursing him. I'll look at someone else.
So Nut's still having a set of time on board with Geordie, who's been showing us some really good pace as of late. Let's see where he can settle himself in. Currently 7th, 128.6. Purple S2, meaning he was fast on track at that time. Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought, oh, wow, T-Max really got some pace there. As Mikau brings himself underneath a little bit more, 27.6. Seb's still on that 28.0, but currently in the pits, so I'm sure he'll come out he'll come out soon. Sorry if you already know this. Nah, man, I always need to be re-educated. Just have a look at previous streams to know what I'm talking about. So in for Spoon. Oh, not Spoon, hairpin. Sorry. Then out through the hair. Sometimes it is really hard to get the right line through there because you kind of want to start wide so that you straighten up the apex. But if you're not careful, anybody that's behind you can dive bomb quite easily. And as long as you can slow up the car fairly enough, you can't go anywhere. It's to go around the full outside perimeter of hairpin just doesn't really work that well. So the fastest line is to stay on the outside and then close tight. But you leave yourself open to inside dive bomb. So it's a nice balancing act that you have to do. As Geordie comes around the Casio triangle. Oh, I'm pulled into the pits, so he decides to abort that lap.
So Daza Revo has a chance to actually lock up the championship this race. Is that right? If he gets first, regardless of whatever else happens, he wins?
Pretty sure, yep. Pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, I don't have the official math in front of me, but that's a safe bet.
The official math?
I don't even think he has to finish first. I, again, don't have the official math. We should probably do that, but future, it's for an improvement. All right, so Revo coming around the second sector now, prepping for his another flying lap. 5 minutes, 17 seconds.
It's 25 points to win, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep, it's 25, and then 18 is the next one. Post-race interview if he does. I'll try. We'll see if we can set one up. Yeah, I'll definitely have to see if we can try and drag him up and get some thoughts from the man himself. That's a nice and early championship. It is, but if you saw, I don't know if you've tuned into any of our previous broadcasts, but if you see how this man drives, it's not that much of a surprise. All right, so here we go. Into the DRS zone, starting Another flying lap. Currently sitting on provisional pole with a 1:26.994. Let's see if he can improve that time at all. So there you go. Nice and tight through first corner, then up into Snake, into sixth, then quickly down into fifth. You can see how sharp he's turning the car. Wants to keep the inside line because it gives you the best sort of stretch as you go out. And also, there is tiny bits of rain on the track at the moment. I don't think it'll affect him too hard as he moves to the first Degner. Very nice cut on the inside using all of that green space. And up through the gears now, moving into hairpin. But he's backed off. Okay, so something happened in there that he wasn't prepared for, and he'll pull over to the side.
Okay. Oh, it's raining.
Yes, it is. And Revo has retired. So
you know it's not going to beat it in the rain.
So, yep, that's it. So everyone's starting to realise that the rain is falling a little bit heavy. And soft tyres, obviously moving to intermediate tyres would absolutely just trash out any form of fast pace that you have. So Revo decides to call it.
Yep. Just did the math. If Revo gets 5 points tonight, he locks it out.
Only 5?
Only 5.
Well, there you go. Okay, so as long as he doesn't crash. Revo's still the fastest in the wet. Yes, but we're not. He is, but there hasn't really been a great comparison of Revo versus everyone else in the wet. It's usually he does the better strategy and then just sort of takes off. Revo is esports pace. Yeah, so much so that he actually qualified for the pro draft. Unfortunately, coronavirus decided to halt that. But yeah, he did actually qualify for the pro draft and was going to London to do so. DSQ Geordie for driving the wrong way. Yeah, well, doesn't really matter. Everyone's sort of... Nobody's going to be able to beat time. So 2 minutes 30 on the clock, but I can't imagine anyone... I say that, but Matoid is on an outlet. So, I mean... I'll stay on board here. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if he actually goes to do it. Nut retires as well. So Nut. Oh, well, DRS is officially disabled as Matsoid decides to deja vu his way around Spoon.
Now that you're on Matsoid, that reminded me, Matsoid and Geordie are both very close. There's 2 points separated between 9th and 10th place.
Everyone retiring from the session. Matsoid cutting the track as he wants to get into the pits. So, he did it again. He's really channeling the Tokyo Drift today.
Playing fast and loose with those Red Bull front wings.
That'll be something interesting to see. Can we get a race where Matsoid does not break an end plate?
I really hope not. It's the only joke I've got.
That'd be interesting. I reckon that's my goal for the whole championship now. Just to see if he can go through without breaking one. All right, so that is qualifying. It has come to a close fairly early, but the majority of drivers got their laps in. Revo happy with a 1:26.9, so he'll take pole position. Mikau 1:27.6, and Seb with a 1:27.7, so not too far off from those two. As Matsoid takes fourth with a 1:28.1. So the Red Bulls starting side by side. Good to see. T-Mac there in fifth, 1:28.2. Flyboy for the Racing Point, 1:28.3. Major Payne in sixth place with a 1:28.9. So all in all, it's pretty close times there on the board. So we should be in for a cracker of a race. 27 laps here around Suzuka.
Beautiful circuit for it.
And as you can see, the clouds are pretty much all gone. Nice and sunny. So we should have all pace on track.
Lovely. I'm very excited for this one.
Also, as the race, continues, and as we're all watching it, make sure to suggest who you think your driver of the day is. Put it in the chat, and then we'll go over it at the end. We'll see what everyone's thoughts are. We'll have a discussion.
We'll officially, unofficially crown it, but it kind of like whose line is it anyway? It doesn't really matter.
Everything's made up, and the points don't matter.
Yep.
Hey, coach, just in time for the start. Yes, indeed. 4 seconds till we get this show on the road. And then, of course, it is an official race. So formation lap lets the drivers get their last slow lap of the circuit. Temps, get some temperatures in the tyres and brakes. Oh, a little bit of a weird start there, but no collisions, I don't think.
Flyboy nearly smashed Matzoid.
Imagine how crappy you would feel if you go to take off your formation lap and immediately bump the guy in front of you and you just go nowhere. You just immediately reset back into your box. It's like, huh, that's dumb. Zoe Despotaki 89, good morning to you too, sir. Or madam. I don't know.
Can't assume genders these days, can I?
Yeah, exactly. You can't. How many races are tonight? We'll see. There are 2. There will be Tier 1, which you are watching right now. And then, of course, at around 9 p.m., there will be Tier 2. So 2 races on a Sunday. And then we, of course, on Fridays have our 2010 series, which is 2 races again, but of a shorter distance. So Tier 1, Tier 2 are 50%. And Friday series is 25% each. Big Buckeye boy, what's up with you, man?
Hey, dude. My timing screen's bugged a bit. Gus Rules doesn't have an interval.
Yeah, that's because he's so fast that the game doesn't know what's going on.
So
That, or he's driving the Vettel car, and Ferrari's like, no longer part of the team. We do not care about this time.
Interesting strategy I see starting from Polo, Nut, and Lotus all on the medium.
Well, neither of those guys qualified anywhere good. Of course, Lotus serving into a qualification ban. So they are going to want to do a longer first stint to see if they can try and overcut.
Yeah.
That's the plan. But the softs work too well here at Suzuka. So unless there's a bit of chaos, which does happen, Tier 1 is not impervious. So that Tier 2 would happen, it's guaranteed. But Tier 1 isn't impervious to no chaos. So we'll see how this all unfolds as everyone's starting to come up on the grid. Shout out from Scottsdale, Arizona. Oh, very nice, sir. Hopefully you have it. Life is good for you in the US. I know it's a bit crazy at the moment with COVID and everything. Mikau to lead into the S's. All right, we'll hold you to that, Henry. You think he's going to get a better start off the line than Revo? I mean, Revo doesn't have the greatest starts, so let's be real. Are all the pilots Australian? No, there is a mix of Australia and New Zealand here with our drivers. All right, here we go. 5 red lights, waiting for him to turn off. Let's get this kicked off. And away we go. Everyone is off the line, and it looks pretty clean so far. We can see Mikau had a decent start, but Revo did as well. As they go through first corner, as we move through the grid, we don't... Oh, there's a Ferrari already around! Oh, God. Okay, so Gus Rules. Definitely the Vettel in this situation. He's been spun.
Oh, no.
Straight away into first corner, all the way down into 18th.
Yes, this is allowed. Charlie?
So an eventful first part of the race. Looks like only one car really being that affected. Gus will hopefully be able to catch up to the rest of the grid. On board with Seb at the moment, who is 4 tenths behind Mikau. And Revo making a slight lead now, 7 tenths up there. So as we start to extend to the end of the first lap, you can see the times start to get larger. However, they're very, very balanced from about 3rd to 8th. So we'll see how that develops. Revo now on the back stretch, followed by Mikau. Seb, Matzoid, his teammate, close behind as well. Major Pain there in 5th. T-Mac, Flyboy, Whiteheat, Bandcamp, and Combined round out the top 10. Oh, as Geordie looks to make a move here. Came up on the back of Jacob Meister. We go into the Casio triangle.
Not too bad so far. Pretty, apart from Gus Rules, pretty clean first lap.
All right, so Jacob Meister and Apollo have both pulled into the pits. They must have been... As Apollo Pepsi picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not a great start to this race. Jacob Meister and Apollo must have been caught up in that initial incident on the first corner. I'm assuming they've got wing damage. That's why they're in the pits. And, of course, Apollo decides to forget about the speed limit as well. So 5 seconds to kick off this race. Not a great start at all.
I know we're only on lap 2, but Revo's already pulling away from Mikkel.
Yep, that's pretty typical Revo. So again, as long as he gets into his zone, I'm sure he'll probably be unstoppable this race. But strategy does come into it as well. So we'll see if Mikkel can pull something magical out of his bag of tricks. Seb even. They've both got the pace to do so. So on board with T-Mac. Ooh, Major Payne going a little bit too tight into Spoon. T-Mac might be able to use this to his advantage. Now, early on in the race, of course, everyone fully charged ERS batteries. Oh, we have a massive...
Big off. Lost it around Spoon.
That's Smitty there. You can see the name grade out. Yep, so Smitty has had an accident out of Spoon. So we already have our first DNF. And that is the Toro Rosso out of there.
I saw that. That was, just... He had a bit of oversteer, couldn't catch it.
Okay, so that's unfortunate. We're now down to 17 drivers as DRS has been enabled. It is lap 3 of 27. So now the trains will start to evolve. Combined making a move on Bandcamp there. 4th, 9th place. T-Mac closing up on Major Payne. Major Payne not having a great entry. So he's got the Williams to contend with, which usually would not be the case. But since it is a virtual game, the Williams has pace.
Seb is slowly encroaching on Mikkel.
Go into the Degner corners. Now, you'll notice that these guys, they take it a little bit crazy as they move through the Degner corner, which is fine. You just want to make sure that you don't put too much of your tyre into that grass. As T-Mac, massive lock-up, tried to go up on the inside, but it didn't quite work, which is mean that Flyboy gets bumped into Wahid. 4 cars now into this little battle. T-Mac tried to do the inside move, but then realised, wait a minute, it's a bit sharper than I thought, locks up the brakes, and then completely messes it for everyone else. But luckily, no damage on any of those cars, and it all goes back to standard.
Geordie shoots past Nut, coming around Spoon. On the back straight now, he's looking to overtake Bandcamp. Is he going to go up the inside of 130R? No, he thinks better of it.
He knows that it's probably not a safe bet. You can technically do it, but considering how much force you would have on the car pushing you out, it's not going to go well. I think Shrimp just tried to go on the inside of Nut, bumps the Toro Rosso. Nut has to go the long way around. He's probably picked up a warning for it, but during all of that, Shrimp's actually lost 2 positions there. Lotus has managed to shoot past as Bandcamp comes into the pits.
Don't think he had damage. His tyres can't be worn after 3 laps.
Not sure what's happening there, but he's decided to come in. I would laugh so hard if he actually got forced into the pit lane for some reason. Which I have done to him in Dirt Rally before. But in F1 it's a bit weird because you've got so much. But yeah, if he got forced in, that would be something quite interesting there. Alright, so Jacob Meister making a position there as Bandcamp comes out of the pits. And Wahid managed to make an overtake on Flyboy. So Flyboy's dropped down to 8th. T-Mac still in 6th, trying to catch up to Major Payne. But after that lockup, it's a little bit difficult for him at the moment. We have a Sector 3. There is Apollo Pepsi off the side of the track as they come into the Casio Triangle. And he's missing the entire front wing. This race is going so poorly for him. I can't imagine he's too happy. There he is, Pink Panther, coming into the pits for a second time in 2 laps.
Sorry, just interrupting. Pondon in the chat saying, here an Australian commentator saying Nut is unmatched.
Yeah, mate, that's my thing. That's totally my thing. That's going to be what I ride to Hollywood.
Speaking of Nut, he just dropped 2 positions coming into 130R. Both Lotus and Shrimp got past him.
So Gus Rules might... oh, sorry, no, that was his time. So Nut was, just passed by Lotus. Here we are on board with Flyboy, who's trying to regain the position lost to him.
Nut's back in the pit.
Looks like Nut has some damage there. Wow, man, so much damage happening in the first 5 laps.
I'm missing all of it. I want to see the front wings.
Japan is not forgiving to these guys, it seems. All right, so Revo already with a 4.1 second lead. So nice and comfortable. We'll see how much... Those of you in the chat, put in your bets as to how big the gap will be by the end of the race. I want to see if anybody can get it smack bang. Seb 0.8 behind Mikkel, so there's still a running in there. Matzoid just underneath the DRS limit for his teammate. Major Payne 4.5 seconds behind them. So the first 4 guys are in their own little pack as everyone else struggles to catch up. Jacob Meister 20 seconds behind Gus Rules. There's a split there between 13th and 14th. Ali 27 seconds. Hobbsy 100 years. I'm going to be honest, I don't think you're going to win that one, but we'll see. Coach 28 seconds. Yep, fair enough. Okay, 28. That's very high. That is very high. These are very high guesses. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
I didn't realise Matzoid wasn't running TC tonight.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was in chat, but they did mention that Matzoid is attempting no TC. So I fear for those end plates, but we'll see what happens.
I'm excited. I want to see it. No, he's doing well so far. Really well up in 4th place. Absolutely smashing it.
All right, back down to 13th. Let's have a look at the back of the grid as Gus Rules hits that DRS zone, and you can see the prancing horse catching up to the Silver Arrow as they come up into first corner. But we already have a Sector 3 yellow flag. Is that Apollo again?
Apollo.
Okay, so Apollo's just lost all motivation, I think. He's stuck there on the... Wait, there's a safety car?
There is. Did he lose any wing?
Tell me his front wing's gone again. Okay, as Nut picks up a 5-second penalty, they're speeding in the pit lane. What's this race?
Oh, his whole wing is gone.
Yeah, but it was like that before. Did he go into the
reckon-
pits and not replace it?
I don't know. You must have replaced it. Surely you can't race like that. Do you
Not sure
reckon the Red Bull team might have some extra wings for him since Matzoid's doing so well?
Maybe. It'll be a bit interesting. Oh, man, how good would it be to mix and match colours? So you have like a Red Bull front wing and then like a Ferrari wing.
Confident that was going to happen in the 2010 race. Last week, 'cause everyone was pulling into pit boxes that had different wings sitting at the front.
Jeez. Look, I don't know what's happening here, but it's not a great race here for Apollo. He's coming into the pits twice already. He's lost. It's okay. Daddy Stroll can pay for more wings. Yeah.
So I was laughing at.
Yeah.
Well, safety car is going to bring the field up a bit, so hopefully Apollo can unlap himself. I don't think so. He's really far behind, but hopefully he can make some headway.
Yeah, this also means that the gap that Revo's made is going to be lost, of course, as the safety car
Everyone's
bunches everyone.
up for mediums. Everyone's on mediums. No, not near everyone, but nearly everyone's on mediums.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, considering you have a safety car, pit on the mediums, do the longest stint, and then chuck on the softs for that nice, quick, grippy end to the race. Or do what Shrimp's doing, chuck on the hards and see if you can go the whole way, but I would hesitate to do so because I don't think that the pace of those tyres is going to do you any well.
I've tried them. They're not good around here. You'd have to go medium or soft from here. If you, because I did do this in a practice race, if you do push your softs to 10, 11 laps, then the mediums can last you the rest of the race.
All right,
But,
so
yeah, then they're not feeling good towards the end of the stint.
all right, so combined, the current leader of this race, everyone else decides to pit. Combined says, I don't need to. I have the power of Zach Brown behind me. We'll see how well that goes for him. Currently on 6-lap old softs as the championship leader is behind him. And again, this is why I love sim racing so much. You see scenarios that wouldn't normally happen. Can you imagine, just for a second, you've got a McLaren in front, and then the championship is being led by a Renault? Like, we as Australians, we all wanted that to be the case because we want to see our boy Ricky Chompers, win a driver championship. It would be fantastic to do so, but unfortunately, Renault was just not the team for that. So it's good news, of course. So I've got Sainz making the move to Ferrari to be the other driver alongside Leclerc, and then Ricciardo moving up into McLaren, which was originally the plan at first. Ricciardo was thinking of moving to McLaren before he made the move to Renault, but he thought that Renault had a better trajectory upwards, and of course Renault being the engine supplier, he thought, well, might as well be with the primary team. Yeah, bad move. So McLaren even realised that. They're switching to Mercedes engine, so they're going to have a more reliable powertrain, and now Ricciardo moves over to join that team, which is going to be like the meme dream team. Jesus Christ, Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo on the same team.
Cheers, Connolly. Appreciate that. But yeah, no, that's going to be. I think we're going to get some good jokes and laughs on Reddit and Instagram, all that lovely stuff.
Sweet is. All right, lap 8 of 27. We are still under safety car conditions. Combined, of course, coming into pit because you realise that obviously you can't stay out that long on those tyres. So he's dropped down all the way to 14th. Asking 6 laps off, how long do they last? Yeah, it depends on the wear, of course, but yeah, usually about 8 or 9, give or take. Ali's on the money there. So hopefully the safety car will come in this lap and we can get back to full-fledged racing. I really don't want a repeat of the 2010 series, even though I was leading for that. So yeah, but I forgot to tell my team to put on wets, and so I paid the price.
Not really. You actually you did pretty well. I don't think on wets you would have done as well. As
I went from 1st to 8th. I beg to differ. Or the rain should have stayed away for another 2 laps. That would have been great. When I saw how much pace I had, I was like, oh, maybe this mistake is going to work in my favour. And then as soon as the rain started properly hitting, that was it. It was over.
If that race was 2 laps shorter, you would have come away with the podium.
It would have been awesome. All right, so 17 drivers left in this session. Apollo, let me just have a quick... Apollo has a wing, just checking. All right, so 17 drivers in this session as the safety car comes around, but it has not notified that it will pull in, so it looks like it'll come around for one last lap. I hope it's one last lap. I don't want to have a China issue where we had 4 laps under safety car. That was ridiculous. But I think it's just allowing Apollo to try and catch up.
That does mean that Apollo will get a chance to unlap himself, won't it?
Yes. Okay, they're coming into first corner now, so yes, but he won't. He'll unlap himself in the sense that he'll pass Revo, or he can pass Revo. But by the time these guys hit the start line, if the safety car doesn't come in, then yeah. But if the safety car comes in, yes, he'll unlap himself, but he'll still be so far back. Actually, let's watch this. Let's have a look. So he is ghosted, of course, because he's...
He's got to gun it. What's he doing? He should gun it.
Yeah, I don't think... Either he doesn't realise he can go past, or he doesn't care. One of the two. But
I don't think he realises.
Yeah, I don't think he realises that he can...
But yeah, Ali, he's ghosting at the moment. He can just shoot past all of them and try and recatch them. He won't, but I mean, he can try.
Lever 91. Who's going to Renault in your opinion? In my opinion, and this might sound weird, but I reckon that so it could be Vettel, but I doubt it. But yeah, I would say Alonso. I would, because he wanted to get back into F1. And I feel like Alonso's done so much in his career that it doesn't... He's kind of like Kimi Räikkönen. So Kimi Räikkönen's racing for Alpha, right? And he can perform, but he just doesn't care. He just doesn't.
Hobby for me. I don't have to do if I don't want.
It just doesn't. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like Alonso might be in the same boat. He has the experience to get into F1. There's no doubt about that. He goes back to Renault. All of the F1 nerds lose their minds because, that's where he won his championship. So, yeah. We'll see. How about a young F2 driver? That's the same as... that could be the case as well. F2, of course. People could come up. More young people are joining the sport. You've got George Russell, Leclerc. Look, think about it. Leclerc is already in Ferrari. Alex Albon in Red Bull. You know what I mean? Science now into Ferrari. It's crazy. All right, so the safety car is in. And the race will get underway. Revo backs up the grid and then absolutely rockets off. Already a 7/10 gap. As we come down into first corner, let's jump in about midway as the camera angle gives me the worst one possible. Wahid goes in behind T-Mac, Geordie following suit. Okay, Shrimp. So Shrimp probably realising the hard's probably not the greatest idea. Switches over to mediums. Yep, okay. Alain Prost to come out of retirement. I'd love to see that. No joke. So lap 10 of 27. 17 laps left on the board. Matt Zoid here getting awfully close to Lotus, who is currently fourth, so a great restart for him. But Can he hold on? Oh, Matzoid decides to take the inside line, but he pulls it off a little bit better than T-Mac, and with no traction control either. So that's really well done. Moves himself up into 4th and retakes that position.
Massive train now. Yeah, Smitty, that was bad luck, man. Spoon is a horrible corner.
Right, so T-Mac goes out a little bit wide, takes up 6th. Wahid goes out even further wide and loses those 2 positions. So he's now trying to catch up to this Alfa Romeo. The toe is going to be fairly strong. Of course, DRS has not been enabled just yet. Have a look. T-Mac brushing the grass a little bit. Oh, man, Major Payne decides to try and fight here. So 2 wide now. Coming down that line, Major Payne with a massive jump as Lotus jumps into the pits. Interesting.
Oh, Flyboy flying through turn 1, comes past Wahid on the inside line.
Right, so
That was very impressive.
something's going on there with Wahid. Not sure exactly what it is, but he's lost 3 positions now, down into 9th. So hopefully he'll be able to get that checked out, because it's not going to do well. Wahid very, very fast, so hopefully he can climb up a couple more positions. But a great race for T-Mac so far. 5th, trying to chase down Matzoid, is in DRS range. Matzoid is not. He's 2.5 seconds behind his teammate.
Oh, that explains it. Well, I just had a drive-through.
Oh, okay. All right, so obviously something happened under safety car. Possibly a Delta. That catches me out sometimes.
Oh, yeah, dude, definitely.
Let's jump up here with T-Mac, who is chasing Matzoid down the back stretch. Now, no DRS zone, but the toe is fairly strong. And as you come through 130R, of course, very, very flat. And then into the Casio triangle. Who's going to have the better braking zone? Oh, and there goes the gearbox of T-Mac. Great glitch. Hopefully that's gone for 2020.
It's so annoying, isn't it?
Okay, so DRS is now enabled. And have a look at Geordie, who's trying to drag race T-Mac as they go down. But T-Mac, just a little bit extra. Here we go, into first corner. Matzoid goes a little bit wide and picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. And Geordie is looking to try and battle T-Mac through Snake. And he pulls it off up into 5th place.
Wow. Well done by Geordie there. Very game to overtake through the S's.
So T-Mac now down into 6th place. The Alpha jumps up. Major Payne trying to keep that gap. Flyboy also doing the same. The Pink Panther, one of them has had a bad day, but the other one seems to be holding on pretty steadily as he chases down the half to see if he can jump up a couple of spots himself. Being chased by Wahid in the Mercedes and Jacob Meister rounding out the top 10. Ooh, getting a little bit squirrely there as you come around hairpin. Now, if you do run no TC, it's very, very tempting to try and gun it, but you'll just get so much wheel spin and slide out of that corner, and you'll just absolutely ruin your race. Another thing that's being fixed for F1 2020 is Gus Rills picks up a 3-second time penalty there at the back and loses 2 positions there. So it must have gone a bit wide coming through. Yeah, there he is, rejoining behind band. Yes, in 2020, the traction control system has been tweaked and changed. They took some feedback from the drivers, noting that the traction control and the amount of grip in an F1 car is so strong that 0 TC isn't accurate. The car grips, so 0 TC in 2020 feels more like medium TC in 2019.
Connolly, what do you mean?
Surprised T-Mac allowed that. Oh, he might not have had a choice. Big train. Yes, big train. You can see Matzoid leading that train and everyone else trying to chase. Let's jump up with Geordie here, who's trying to claim 4th place. Man, Matzoid really does push the limits of that first Degner corner, putting 2 of those tyres up on the side there. Sector 2 yellow flag. Who is...
Flyboy?
Yeah, Flyboy not having a great exit. He's shot down from 8th place all the way to 12th position. So the last car in that train got hit pretty hard as Geordie makes an overtake on Matzoid, and T-Mac might just do the same.
Jordan is flying today.
Okay, so great pace from the Alfa Romeo. Here comes T-Mac. The toe is strong. He'll go up alongside as they move down the backstretch. It's going to be a drag race between the Williams and the Red Bull. Who's going to come out on top here in 130R? It looks like T-Mac might just squeeze it out, and he does. Nice shift into line. Now we'll jump on board with a Haas. Matzoid has already lost 2 positions, and if he's not careful, he might just lose a third. What's the exit going to look like? Oh, there's contact. Major Payne couldn't get out of the way quick enough. I'm not sure if there's any damage.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Matzoid has no end plates. Please tell me that's true.
No,
I don't
he's serious.
think that's
Really?
true. Okay, he's missing one. He is missing one, but he still has one. He
Today's
still
a
has
good
one.
day.
Lord and Saviour. Okay, so Major Payne gets away with no damage there. Lucky. So he went to try and make a move, but didn't think the Matzoid would slow up so quickly. Obviously got caught out. A little bit of a bump there, just to remind him that he's there. But gets out of the damage. Oh, man, Matzoid pushes that so hard. I keep expecting him to just fling right. Hit that AstroTurf and absolutely fling right.
Oh.
I love how you guys commentate and also integrate the Twitch chat. Do you guys have Do you guys for AFR have all 3 platforms for 2020? So we obviously chatting with the audience is important because you guys are watching and it's interesting to try and jump back and forth. We get different perspectives. As for all 3 platforms, what we're hoping is that Codemasters allow cross-platform.
Oh, that'd be
And
so good,
cross-platform would be perfect for us because it means that we could still have our PC base, but anyone who wanted to join from PS4 or Xbox could, and it would be awesome. So
That would really
I
help
hope that
me
is the case. Otherwise, it's a little bit hard for us. You know, we're only a small team. For us to integrate to run 3 different platforms is quite difficult. So if there's cross-platform, it'll be easy on our point. As Major Payne, will he squeeze out Matzoid into the first corner? Matzoid is forced out wide a little bit, and Major Payne will take that position. So Haas up into 6th place.
out. Surprised Matzoid isn't coming in to fix that end plate. Oh, actually, if he waits 2 more laps in pits, he's only got 10 laps on the soft. That's probably what he's doing.
All right, so we've got a Sector 3 yellow flag, and that is Apollo parked off the side of the course.
He's really not having a good race.
Yeah, you can see the life fade from his visor.
On the plus side, he's still got his wings.
He does. He does have his wings. Dazza, no cross-platform in 2020. All right, if that's been confirmed, I haven't seen any news of that. But yes, okay, I guess that answers the question.
That's unfortunate.
It is. It is because it's something they could definitely do. I don't know if maybe there's a technical challenge because of the way that they've coded the game. I know some games, when it comes to like frame rate or things like that, but I figured F1 wouldn't fall to that. But anyway, it is what it is.
Well, there's a big train from Matzoid all the way down to Flyboy, 7th to 12th. Everyone about half a second of each other.
On board with Bandcamp, you just saw Combine trying to make a sneaky peek over Jacob Meister, but he couldn't quite do it. Jacob Meister stays on the inside for the braking marker, but it cost him. He did put 2 tyres on the inside of that Casio triangle, and he'll pick up a time penalty for it as well. The DRS comes on. Have a look at Combined. He shoots over. They've both got DRS, I think, but it looks like the McLaren's going to squeeze him out into first corner. They're going full speed there. Oh, and it forces the McLaren on the inside. Jacob Meister still in this fight. He'll be on the inside for the first to snake. But no, the McLaren does squeeze past. And Combined will make it into 9th. That was a great drive there from Combined. I thought that he went a little bit too brave into first corner, but no, worked out well for him.
I'm amazed at how many overtakes are happening in the first sector. I thought we wouldn't see any. These guys they're doing fantastic. And without touching, I mean, they're driving absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, it didn't quite look that way first part of the race, but as we're starting to evolve, lap 16 it is. Matzoid now getting challenged by Combined. Matzoid keeping that inside line, so the McLaren's not going to be able to do the dive on the inside. Combined will have to try and fall in line, use the toe, see if he can get a better exit out of Spoon. That'll probably give him what he's looking for. Jacob Meister trying to regain that position, but it doesn't look like he's got quite the same pace. Of course not. Jacob Meister on 14 lap old mediums, so the pace is of course going to disappear with all of that. Here we go down in the back stretch. Matzoid has got a way better exit though. We'll see if Combined can catch up through 130R, But I mean, if not, Matzoid is 1.8 seconds behind Wahid, so he won't have DRS combined will. So I'm sure the McLaren will make easy work. Oh, here we go. Jacob Meister trying to go up on the inside, but catches yet another 5-second penalty for that. Now, Suzuka is a little bit bugged. Usually you would get warnings for doing something like that, but that corner there will immediately give you a time penalty. As Bandcamp, look at him. He flies past Jacob Meister, slots in 9th place. Great job from the Renault.
Close racing, all these guys absolutely brilliantly. Yeah, I was on board with combined then. He switched down into second gear by accident, locked up.
Ah, okay. That makes a little bit more sense. So that's unfortunate. Maybe the stewards will have to have a look at that ruling.
Oh no, Jacob Meister had a slip on the inside curb coming out of the first sector.
There it is. He's dropped down a couple, stopped on the side of the road. He is rejoining the track now into 13th place. That's pretty harsh. Hopefully he'll be able to catch up quickly. Usually we catch some form of accident. Now all the accidents are happening off camera.
He lost a lot of his wing. Oh, he's going to have to limp that car home. Ouch.
Lap 17 to 27, 10 laps to go. Revo with an 8.4 second lead. I feel really bad for all of you who said 28 second lead because that safety car really screwed you over.
There might be another one.
Possibly. Anything can happen in these last couple, in these the final stretch. Here we
Why
go.
is
Up.
Pepsi in the pits again?
He's putting on softs.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's going for the end. Yeah, you can get about 9-10 laps out.
All right. So T-Mac using the DRS, catching up to Major Payne, not quite getting him at first corner. Wahid only 0.3 behind him as well. So Major Payne's got to play a pretty strong defensive game here. And you can see how much Snake throws the car off. You can see Wahid trying to fight the G-force, pushing him to one side. And that's where downforce becomes a little bit of a problem in Japan because you've got so much fast track, but then you start the sector with left and right bank curves, and it's just wicked because as you try and keep a nice tight line, the speed that you want to carry is forcing your car to the opposite side. So if you don't have this downforce set up there, then it'll ruin your race. But if you match the setup to do the first sector, you lose speed in all the other sectors, which is what makes Suzuka such a great track. What doesn't make Suzuka such a great track in F1 2019, at least, is the damn bump at the end. But that's gone for 2020, so awesome.
Matt Dabry asking if you can turn on the fast lap telemetry for a second.
There we go. Fastest lap telemetry. Revo currently with a 130.419. Mikau with a 131.3. Seb with a 131.1. And Geordie there with a 131.9. Here we go. T-Mac now trying to catch Major Payne, but can't quite do it. Major Payne has some serious speed there. Oh, but he had a really bad exit out of first corner, and that's allowed T-Mac to catch up just a little bit more. As you can see, T-Mac just got affected by that as well. Tried to turn in a little bit too far. The tyres are failing. The force overwhelms the car, and then he has to sit there and play with the steering wheel. So it's one of those things where it really does lead into some interesting...
Oh, sorry. Flyboy just ran wide at the end of the first sector, same spot. Jacob Meister went out, and he somehow caught the car on the grass. That was very impressive.
Yeah, so he's dropped one. Gus Rules managed to make an overtake there.
Two positions.
Into 11th as Jacob Meister pits due to the incident. Can you explain the new ERS system F1 2020? Everyone in the chat's explained it pretty good. I think it's auto, but you can choose for overtake. Pondon's got the exact answer there. Auto ERS for everyone, but you have an overtake button. A more detailed explanation is in an actual F1 car, the ERS modes are mapped to engine modes, and 2020 is doing something similar. So each track has ERS modes that are mapped to it for every car. And so your car will automatically switch between those ERS modes as you drive. That is dependent on, of course, how much ERS you use with that overtake button. So you can spam that overtake button as much as you want. But if you do so, the automatic ERS system will compensate for that. Also, the way you drive has an effect on how your ERS changes. So ERS is conserved or is charged by heat transfer and kinetic energy. So usually when you hit the brakes real hard,